Welcome back to another episode of Excuse My Grandma. It's Kim and my co-host.
Grandma Gail.
And today we are joined by a very special guest, Kate Mackz. You may have seen her videos when she runs up to someone and says, "How many miles are you running today?" And usually they will run with her on an interview, and it's the most entertaining thing ever. So Kate, thanks for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm so excited.
It's fun.
Yeah.
I'm glad you didn't ask me to run. That's the most important
Well,
thing. I can
Maybe
walk.
after this.
I
Maybe
can
after
walk.
this.
Exactly. I can walk quickly.
Yeah,
A little bit.
Some of your interviews are walking too.
Yes.
Yeah. So tell us how this all got started. Were you always a runner? And then why take it to the social media?
Sure. So I grew up in New Jersey and I come from like a very active family. Like I have a twin brother and an older brother, and we just always grew up, very active. My parents definitely pushed sports at us, and my parents were runners. So like naturally I just kind of fell into it. And I was actually a lacrosse player. So I grew up in North Jersey and lacrosse is huge there. But I tore my ACL twice. And the second time I tore it, I was like, I'm not getting surgery again. Like I'm just going to run. And that's what I did. And I fell in love with high school. I fell in love with high school. I fell in love with running in high school. I was like 15. And it was really like my escape and the thing that I just loved to do. And I loved running with other people, getting my friends to run. And it just was something that I did very socially and to make myself feel good. And because I could no longer play contact sports that involved lateral movement because I don't have an ACL. So running was kind of the only option for me. And then
So were you known as like the runner girl in high school too?
yeah, I honestly I was, and I did track and I did cross country and all of those things, but for me it was always just kind of the fun side of it, not really the competitive side of
Right.
it, just going for runs with friends, having good conversations, and yeah, I really developed a community through running that I
Which
had
is
had.
very popular now. I mean,
Oh my gosh, running?
clubs and
Yeah.
all that. Have you run in the marathon at all? Have
I
you done
have.
the New York?
Yes, I have. Yeah, I've done the marathon, the New York City Marathon 2 times, Philly
Oh.
once. I wouldn't say I'm an active marathon runner. I haven't really been training for anything.
But you do it.
But I'll definitely do another one again
Right.
at some point.
You've
hopefully.
done more than we've done.
No.
So-
We've cheered on the marathon.
Yes.
Yeah.
My daughter-in-law's done the marathon a few times. So we always had the signs up and
Yeah,
we yelled,
cheerleader,
"Yay!"
10 out of 10.
Yeah,
like
we're
I also
very
did
good.
that in high school, kind of as a
Hey,
joke.
that's
though.
good. I'm so curious about your guys' family dynamic. Like, I need to know the breakdown. But to fast forward, I went to college, still was really into running. It was the thing that I would do, when I went to the gym at school. I would always go for runs in the city. I went to school in New York City. So
Where did you go?
I went to Fordham,
Oh,
Lincoln
Okay,
Center.
amazing.
Yeah, so I was on the Upper West Side, and yeah, when I graduated, I was working in advertising on the creative side of advertising, and I loved digital marketing and I loved social media marketing. And my fiance and I had an idea for a running interview show because I was already super involved in the running community in New York City, and yeah, we had the idea to do the running interview show, and then we tried to figure out how can we make this work and be social savvy. And that's when we came up with the hook where I go up to a stranger on the
Right.
street and I say, "Hey, how many miles are you running today?" And then we go for a run, learn all about the person in a short form video. And it's been really fun to see it kind of take off in the past year and a half. And yeah, we have a lot in store for this year. So
I'm
That
sure
sounds
you're
great.
killing it.
thank
When
you.
you first started, who was filming your fiance?
No, so I film all the running interview episodes. I film on my own. So when I'm filming, I'm like managing the audio levels, like making
Crazy.
sure everybody's like centered, stabilizing the camera, and yeah, asking the questions, holding the combo.
But I gather
Yeah.
he runs as well.
No.
Your fiance. He doesn't.
Oh, my fiance does run.
Oh, I
yes.
was going to say.
Yes.
That was such a major
But
part
he's
of your
not
life.
a match.
But he runs only because like
To keep you company.
yeah, exactly.
all
Exactly.
right, so-
And I think it's also important to say like running like isn't my whole life. Like I think there's also a very creative side of me, like advertising and
Right.
art. My background really is in design. So I kind of was always talented at art and being creative, and also at athletics, and running. Just my family was always athletic. So it was always something I did to stay in shape. But what you're seeing with the running interview show really is like a perfect combination of those two kind of skill sets coming together, and that's why I think it works. But yeah, my fiance like would rather play pickup basketball than join me on a run.
Oh.
But sometimes I force him to.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I feel
Yeah.
like it's giving like Troy Bolton energy, like High School Musical,
Yeah.
both the artistic and the athlete.
Yes.
In
Oh
one.
my God. Yes. Compare me to Zac Efron. Let's go.
Any day.
Yeah.
What did your parents, and I don't know if you're closer around, your grandparents are around, but like what did your whole family think of?
My parents thought it was bizarre.
Yeah.
I have so I come I come from an athletic family, but I also come from like a very studious family. Like both of my brothers work in finance, and they have these like big. My twin brother is currently at Wharton Business School.
Right.
Like my older brother lives in London. He's like opening an office there for his hedge fund. Like they are so
Traditional.
traditional
Yeah.
finance
Okay.
that when they found out that I was running around New York City with my phone over my head interviewing people on the street,
Yeah.
they were like, "Oh my God, our daughter has lost it." Like this
All
is
that money for college, and
Yeah,
she's running
they're
around with
like-
a camera on her
yeah.
head.
They're like, "You had a great job, a great career." But what was great about it was like within 1 month of doing the show, I was able to go full time with it.
Right.
Amazing.
So that was at least like
So
comfortable.
they knew you were financially
Yes.
doing something that they approved of.
Yes, and they actually, it was kind of funny because when I started, and I'm sure you guys had this experience too, like when you start posting online, you have a lot of managers reach out that like want to represent you, and I ended up signing with my now manager, who's been like an integral part of growing the show, and he happens to be from my hometown.
Oh, so
And
he knows
yeah,
you.
it was like this random connection.
Did you know each other before?
No.
Okay.
Oh,
And we went to high school together technically.
Right.
But he was a senior when I was a freshman, and we just
Okay.
never overlapped. But I think my parents were really happy knowing that I had this like support system.
Right.
And this, guy that comes from a great family and from my hometown, and it
Yeah.
all kind of worked out. And
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think
makes
I think my career still freaks them out, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I
they
mean,
don't understand it. It
No.
doesn't freak them out. It's something new for well, your parents are younger than I, but for an older generation, it was never really a career choice we thought about.
Mhm.
And now it is so much a part of our lives, just as the phone is so much a part of our lives.
Wow.
And shopping online is, whoever thought 10, 15 years ago that all you would do is be getting Amazon packages every day instead of
know.
going into a store. But this is the world is changing, and people, and I think they're getting a little more sympathetic with being an influencer and doing this on social media.
mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, certainly even from our perspective, when we first started, oh, that was a joke. And then when they realized there's a financial side
No,
of it.
speak for
Right.
yourself. I never thought it was a joke.
Right.
When you thought it was
Well,
a joke,
I
and then
thought
when
it was a
you
joke.
realized there was
Yeah.
a
Well,
financial
that's true.
component.
That is true.
Yeah. I
That's
mean,
true.
you probably have such a cool perspective on social media, given,
Well, we have a different perspective because we're doing
Right.
it as a generational thing. It's
Mhm.
not really just Kim alone, and it's certainly not me alone because without her, there's no show. But the truth is, we hit an audience that's different age groups that
Mhm.
are watching us and listening. So it's it's fun. It's fun for me, and it's a business that that Kim has developed.
And we get to
It's
meet people,
amazing.
obviously,
Right,
like
that
in
we
these
love.
sort of situations. And I'm sure you feel the same, like both with your manager, but then you also get to interview so many different
Yeah.
people. Who's been your favorite so far?
Oh my gosh. I swear it changes every week. Kind of like what we were saying before we started recording, but we were talking about like booking guests.
Uh-huh.
And I think like same with booking guests. Like I really just run with people that my audience wants me to run with. And I feel like my favorites are always their favorites. So
Yeah.
it's like the videos that do the
That
best.
do the best.
Yeah, I love when, a video resonates with a large group of people. Like there's nothing that like makes me feel better than knowing that like the people watching that got something positive
Mhm.
out of it. So I feel like my favorites are always changing. And I think also just like the nature of the running interview is, like the act of running. I think we can all like remember like being on like I'm just gonna do it, like being in physical like
Yeah,
a
like
PE
PE,
class
yeah.
and having to do the mile.
Yeah.
And
No,
you
I
become friends with the person, right? The people that you're running
I
with.
called in sick like 3 times
Yeah.
to try to avoid it. And they were like,
Yeah.
you have to do this to go on to the next grade.
Yeah.
It was the worst day of my life.
And like when you're doing it, you
Yeah.
kind of band with the people that you're doing it with. And that kind of happens with the runs.
I was alone. I was
Yeah.
so far behind everyone
Yeah.
else. I feel like that's the experience. Like it is a communal thing.
It
It is a bonding thing. But
Yeah.
for some, like it's traumatic, and I
Yeah.
just don't think we should force kids to do the
No,
mile.
and that's why we have the walking portion
Yeah.
too now of the show. But I think that allows me to like connect with the guests on like in this vulnerable kind of way.
Mhm.
And I've really loved like every single person I've had
But
on.
I have to, and
Yeah.
I'm going to answer that, Kim, in a way. They need to have. I don't even know if all schools have PE programs anymore because they cut back on
No,
so
PE
many.
is important, and moving your
Right,
body is
exactly.
important,
I don't-
especially in
Right.
a world where we're always hunched over on our phones and whatever, but
And
like
also eating habits is so
requiring
awful.
an entire mile
Oh, well, a mile might be too much. But I
of
don't know
running.
if you're
What
10
about
or
a
11
walking
years old.
mile?
Well, I think little kids can run.
Okay.
I think
I
you
don't
were
know. I don't know why it was like traumatic for
and you've
me.
No,
walked
it was
you walked
traumatic.
miles.
What?
You know what was so traumatic about it? And I just remember this because I mean, I used to be this way before I tore my ACL for the second time. I was very competitive in sports. And I remember like when we would do the mile, and I went to a small Catholic grammar school, so there were like 40 kids in my grade, and I always wanted to win the mile. And I
Mm.
remember
You
like
were-
the boy that
you
I
were
was
an athlete.
Yeah.
You were an athlete.
So
that was
that
part of your
yeah.
disposition. You
Mhm.
know, that you really loved. Kimmy was really never into that, so she
Right.
really never cared about it. But
Right.
I do think that sports should be part of every child's. You know, little kids have to get up off of a chair. They can't even keep their concentration going in school without some physical activity. So, you know, sometimes you're out of your comfort zone, but I still think it's a good thing to do.
Yeah.
Young
Wait, so,
people
like,
need to do it.
You were saying the boy that you had a crush on, were you like trying to show him that you ran a good mile?
No, it was more like
She wanted to beat him.
the mile always stressed me out because I was like, I have to win it.
Oh, so to impress him?
No, not
Just
to
for
impress him. I
herself.
just knew who the other really talented runner or athlete was. This was
okay.
when we talked, this was like big fish, very small pond.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
this, I was never the best runner in high school or anything like that, but I just remember always getting very stressed out about the mile I don't even think I would probably ever win it in high school, in elementary school, but I always just wanted to do a good job. So I would get stressed out about how I was going to perform.
But I feel like even now with the marathon, people like are low key competitive about what time they made.
The
Yeah.
timing.
Yeah.
They're going against themselves, though.
No,
Not
but like I know
they're
people.
not winning the professional side. Those guys are coming.
No. But I know people who like had
come in
ex-boyfriends, and they're like,
Oh.
"Well, at least I got a better score than him."
Yeah,
And
well, they're very competitive within their running group.
yeah.
You know who they run with. They're not coming in the top 3 people for sure.
Mm.
So usually they're 3 men that come in all the time together. But I think the fact that they beat their own time sometimes is very exciting too for
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
Yeah. No, people get into it.
And listen, it took me a long
Yeah.
time to get to First Avenue.
Yeah.
Remember, we had to figure out how to go from one and weave in between what
But
streets
you
were
also
closed.
don't wear sneakers. Like Chanel
Right.
flats are not like
Well,
what
that's
you're running
true.
a mile in.
Well, I can't.
saying.
Oh
but
my God.
if there was a sale
Yeah.
on a Chanel sneaker,
You're running. You're
I could be
you're banking
very.
it.
I could be very fast.
I love
That's
it.
so funny. I saw a video of like girls on the treadmill, and someone was like holding a bag above them, like as
Oh my
incentive.
God.
To get them to go faster. Trust
Yeah.
me, they all do it.
Are you ever not in the mood to run before an interview?
I don't know, I'm trying to think.
How's the winter
Honestly-
months?
Oh, the winter months are hard.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's what I was
Yes.
thinking. Because now it's fabulous.
Yes.
But let's say when it's freezing
Yes.
cold, who's out? There are people running, but not
No,
that many.
It's so hard. It's
Yeah.
so hard. And actually, that's why we just started an additional show. It was my fiance's idea, and it's called Post Run High. So it's and we're introducing also like a secondary kind of version of the running interview show that'll be very good for the cold weather.
Oh,
I'm not gonna give it away
All right, but
totally,
that
but it's
sounds
very
great.
exciting. But yeah, so I think like in the colder months, we're definitely going to start prioritizing those 2 shows. So everybody make sure you go listen to Post Run High.
exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. Now, how
And
long
that's
have
like a
you-
podcast setting kind of thing.
Yes, podcast setting. And it's really just, I think I was craving because the running interviews are so short form. And
Mhm.
it was like I'd be getting, 5-mile runs or probably like, an hour worth of content. And we'd have these amazing conversations. And it was like I had to cut so much of it out to
Right,
fit
right.
this short form format. And so and that kind of, I started feeling this urge to sit down and just go deeper and like show that side of people. And I had been thinking about a solve for a while. And then my fiance was like, Post Run High, you're going to sit down with people right after the run and you're going to talk
That's
to
good,
them
especially in the cold weather. That'll be great.
Yeah.
It'll be terrific.
inside.
Yeah.
Or you have to come to Florida.
Yes.
See, or you can
Yes.
you
Yeah,
can
be
do
a
a
snowbird.
south run.
Yes.
Yeah.
I need to be a snowboard. That is my goal.
Yeah, that's us right now. It's no complaints.
No,
Yeah.
no complaints.
Wait, so it sounds like your fiance is very supportive of you creatively.
Yes.
That's
yes.
amazing. How
So
did you
creative.
meet?
So we met through a friend that was a couple years older than me. She's like a big sister to me growing up.
Mhm.
He was interning for her our senior year of college.
Oh,
And we met in the city.
Wow.
Shout out the Garrett East.
And you got engaged somewhat recently, right?
yeah, we got engaged in
Congrats.
November. Thank you.
Last November.
last November.
Oh, so I'm coming
Almost
up
a
to a
year.
year.
I know. And our wedding's not until September 2025.
Okay.
We were like one of those people that we took a very long time to book a venue, and
Okay.
then everything
They're
was booked.
all sold out and booked.
Yeah, so that's fine.
So where did you decide to do it?
We're doing it in Sleepy Hollow, New York.
Oh, it's
Oh.
beautiful.
Yeah, Sleepy
so
Hollow Country Club. Yeah.
So
And
pretty.
what was the engagement story?
The engagement story, well, we had been dating for 3 years. I met
Oh,
him
so-
6 years ago,
Oh, so
but
you really have known him a long time.
yeah, I've known him a long time.
So
we were
waiting 2 years to get married. Oh my gosh.
I know. Tell me about it.
This could be very stressful though. You know,
Yeah.
it really can be
Wedding
emotional.
planning or
Yeah, wedding
Yeah.
planning and waiting that amount of time, and families get involved. But are you?
Yeah.
Is your fiance also from Jersey? His
He's
family?
so my fiance. He actually, yeah, he grew up in Jersey. This
Oh,
is
so-
like invisible string theory, like completely
Mhm.
our story. But he grew up in New Jersey for the first like 6 years of his life, and then he moved to North Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah, kind
That's
of
nice,
crazy.
too.
Yeah.
so your
Um,
families have met, I'm assuming.
Yes,
Okay.
our families didn't meet though until we were engaged.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, well, I
Yeah.
think that's right.
That's like
Yeah.
that's pretty old school.
Yeah, and it was so
well,
funny.
that's the way we did it.
Yeah.
You guys
no
did that
question.
way? Yeah. It was so different though than like my older brother is married and he got married really young because he met his fiance his wife. Oh my God, he met his wife in college.
Okay.
And
they had
that
been
was so
together for a
different
long
because
time.
and like we did so much. There was so much overlap with our families, but
Well, that's like your mom.
Yeah,
your
my
dad
parents met
met
like
in
first day of
college.
college.
oh,
kinda.
that was like them.
Yeah.
Those
so
are
many people.
yeah,
And
so
now
many people.
never.
Orientation. I think for schools like something there's like stars align that day for people.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't think anyone I met O week like I met ever again after that.
Yeah.
Like it was all just like my roommate, but I definitely don't talk to anyone else who I met like the first week of college.
No, yeah,
But
it either happens or it
yeah,
doesn't. Yeah.
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like for you, I thought you would meet like they.
I
if-
met
if
while
you
I
went-
was in college.
No, but if you went on a date, wouldn't they meet your parents like the first date?
No. Well, they would come to the door.
Right.
And they would say good evening and of course
So that
shake hands. Yes.
counts.
Yes, that counts. But you didn't have a sit down between
Yeah.
two families.
Right.
I mean, you didn't know his family really, and they,
Mhm.
because you weren't going to his his house
Right.
to pick him up. There was no reciprocity in the picking up business.
Wait,
Oh,
so
yeah.
what was your dating life like? Like how many years?
No,
did you
we
guys date
discussed.
for?
No, I didn't believe we didn't do that.
Okay.
Well, you met your.
I
you
met my
Poppy at
husband
21 years old, or you
when
got married
I was.
at
I
21.
got married at. I met him when I was 20. The end of my junior year, and we were married the end of my senior year. So we knew each other about
But
a
you
year.
went on dates with other people
Wow.
before that.
Oh, we were not what they call now. What do you call it when you only date one person?
exclusive.
Exclusive. We weren't exclusive
Yeah.
until we got married or until
Right.
we got
right.
engaged.
You go on other dates.
we went
until
on
you
other
get-
dates
But that's so
until
cool.
we got the ring on our finger.
Yeah.
We
You're
did not.
open.
We were open to other dates. I used to
How
have a
do you
Friday
have a
night and a Saturday
meaningful-
night
Wait, I
because we
kinda
weren't
love
going.
that.
We had no physical relationship
Oh,
other
right,
than
right,
a kiss,
right.
or nobody was sleeping, and we
Right.
certainly weren't living in the same apartment. I mean, that we would have been thrown out of our family or our community. We just never did that.
Yeah.
So the only way that the guy would have sex with the girl was to put
Yeah.
the ring on her finger and get married. That was the bottom line. And really, it wasn't that difficult to get venues in those days because most of us didn't do destinations. We got
Mhm.
married in our
Yeah.
local area, whatever was available.
I just don't understand how you like emotionally have opened up and become close with someone if you were still seeing other people. Like your
because
mind.
we took a chance.
Do
Yeah.
you
We
feel
said,
like
oh, you know what?
that's so
That
interesting.
guy looks good. He looks good on paper. He's going to get a good job. We like his family, and we did it. And you know what? Some people stayed together, like your grandfather and I, and a lot of people got divorced. But that's the same track record, believe me, today, even with people living together. I would bet 50-50 that couples break up.
No, and it still is like it really still feels like even though it is different now and like you have more time to really like you live with the person for a little bit and decide if you live well together. It
Right.
still feels like when you get engaged that you're taking a chance.
Right.
No, of
Like-
course. You're never 100% about
Yeah,
anything.
getting engaged is scary, honestly, but it's
Yeah,
been
but
good.
but I think you young people have to stop being scared.
Yeah.
You just do it. You do it, and you go for it. It's not
Yeah.
the end of the world. You make a mistake, you make a mistake.
Right.
I mean, it really isn't the end of the world. And sometimes you just have to take a chance.
But that feeling
Yeah.
is so real. Obviously, like I'm not anywhere close to there, but like I feel like I
which
would
is fine. Take your time.
Yeah, but I feel like I would still like have that, and it's probably a little bit of our generation of that feeling of like, what else is out there? Like you never know, and like when do you ever shake that? Like I feel like I'll be on my like deathbed, and I'll be like, wait, should I go on Hinge? Like I feel like now it's
No,
so
it's
ingrained
scary.
in
You
us.
have to
Yeah,
stop.
yeah.
You have to stop.
You
You
have
have
to
to say
stop.
that's
Like
it.
when
I'm
you're like,
not
okay,
dating.
decision's done.
Yeah.
Like that's so crazy. I guess ideally like when you get engaged.
When you
Right.
get engaged.
Yeah.
When somebody makes the commitment,
Right.
when
like
you
a
decide to
serious
make the
legal
commitment,
commitment.
a commitment.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So
and then it's like you become like a man of your word, and it's like, yeah, it's like a
Mhm.
sacrifice, I think,
Right.
getting married too, in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you interview people for the running show, do you ask about like dating and relationships?
I do. I would say like that's why I'm excited about Post Run High, because I feel like I can ask those questions
Mhm.
more. Sometimes people bring them up. I would say like if there's somebody that constantly is like talking about dating and that stuff, then I
Yeah,
absolutely will
right.
ask about it.
Makes sense.
But it just kind of depends.
Right.
Mhm.
Sometimes I have people bring it up, and I had like actually like a recent person that I interviewed that was like a big personality, and he brought up his dating life, and it was so funny. Like I didn't put it in the interview
Right.
because I was like, I don't think he would want this in there. But like sometimes when people are running, they really open up,
Yeah.
and yeah, I've had to be take stuff out.
You should do
but
some more like BTS footage.
Yeah.
Because I feel like people would love that.
I know they totally would. Yeah.
And age wise, you do like a range of ages for the interview. Have you had
Yeah.
someone a grandma yet?
Have I had a grandma yet? I don't know. Well, I'm really excited to have.
Okay.
Wait, have I? I don't know.
Oh, I mean, I love to be the first.
You're the first, maybe.
I love being
Yeah,
the first.
hey.
I am the first grandma of America.
Yeah.
I've had a 2-year-old, so
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
Wait, why?
That
Who
was the
it?
youngest I've ever had. It was our my like future sister-in-law's baby,
Oh,
and that
so
video got
cute.
like 2 million
That-
views.
I was going to
Sure.
say that's probably. I
Yeah.
love to watch I don't
Yeah.
watch much of the social media stuff,
Yeah,
but I do watch all the babies that they have on Instagram.
I do too.
They
I
are
know, I
the
stop every
funniest. Oh, I
time.
love it. They are
Yeah.
the funniest things. I don't know if they prep them or I don't know how they come out with these expressions and these words. They're the
No,
funniest
I think
kids.
like kids are so like improvisational and like
It's so much
spontaneous
fun. It's so much
Yeah.
fun to watch.
that you just don't know what they're gonna say, and it's like
And it's the
amazing when you get it
funniest.
on
That is the funniest.
camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's so funny.
So I want to end with a game we play with all of our guests, Grandma
Okay.
Gail's old-fashioned dating quiz.
Yeah.
So we're gonna see if you're more traditional or modern when it comes to relationships.
Okay. Love it.
Okay. Would you rather receive a call or a text if it's just to say hi?
A call.
Would you sleep with someone on the first date?
No.
Dating apps or setups?
Setups.
Would you move in together before getting engaged or wait until you're engaged?
Move in together knowing that a ring is on the way.
Right.
Yeah. Is that what you did?
Yeah.
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 She's very smart, this girl. She's a girl after my own heart.
Let's
Should
go.
one person pay for the date or should you guys like split, alternate?
I think it depends on what stage you're in your
Mhm.
relationship. I think in the beginning, it's really nice to have the guy treat. I think as time goes on, it's always like one person pays one time, one person pays the other. I don't
Mhm.
think my fiance and I never split. It's either one or the other pays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it's less awkward than like you're both putting your cards in for something.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you treat each other like that makes sense. to
Yeah,
me.
it all evens out.
Yeah, exactly. Should they ask for parents' permission before getting engaged?
Yes.
Should they pick the ring before engagement or would you do it together?
Ooh. Okay. Oh gosh. I brought this up on the We Met at Acme podcast, and I know you guys love
yeah,
Lindsay.
we love Lindsay.
But so there's been a lot of videos on social media where people have been talking about like, should you be there when he's picking out the ring before
Most
you
of my
guys get
friends,
engaged?
they've done it together.
We
or
did
like,
it together.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
at least just kind of talked about what you want and like the shape and everything, and then they could pick later, maybe.
Yeah.
But like, you don't want to be disappointed in
Yeah.
like just because they thought you wanted a totally different look.
Also,
You
I don't
hate
think you
this.
can exchange.
I don't love this. You
Yeah.
know what? I think it's too much emphasis on that ring business because, first of all, knowing your grandma, you get rid of that ring about
Like, you
5
can
years down the
upgrade, yeah.
road. All of a sudden, that ring is going in the drawer. But it's I think don't worry about it. It has no relevance to your relationship. It's so superficial. And if you just, I would say, if you know you're getting engaged, which you absolutely do know, say, I love a round. I love a round. I
But
love a
isn't there
pear
more
shape.
that
I
goes
love a
into
marquee.
it?
Yeah.
But
Like-
I think the picking should be from the person who's buying
But
the
it's
ring.
kind of
Yeah.
cute. Like, I don't know how yours went, but like, I have a friend, they made it a whole romantic day. Like, you go
Right.
to a few different stores and you're drinking champagne. And it's
Well,
like,
I
Yeah,
think
that is fun.
sometimes the
Yeah.
guys are also nervous about it. It depends on how old the young man is. And sometimes they figure, oh boy, I don't want to disappoint her.
Yeah.
So let's go together.
Yeah, and I would say I have a little bit of a regret with it. I wish I let my fiance
Mhm.
pick out the ring completely on his own
Right.
because
Really?
even
Yeah.
with like dates, like my entire life, like and even like friends and stuff, like I think like for so much of like my professional life, I'm such a planner that when I'm doing something socially, like I love seeing what other people want to do and I
Right.
love doing that activity with them. I love seeing what people like want to purchase or buy and I kind of wish I was able to see the ring that he would have picked for
Right.
me that he
Right.
would have thought I would have liked on my own.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that is my
I go
one
with
regret.
that. That's the way I.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
you
so
can
interesting.
give
Yeah.
a direction, but I think they have to really pick it out. I have to
Yeah.
tell you, my engagement ring was a Wellesley ring from his mother.
Right.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
I wore that because he was still in school and
like,
he didn't have a chance
Love
to
that
really.
for you, but that just doesn't fly today.
No, I know it doesn't.
Yeah.
I was 21,
Right.
so it's a little different.
Yeah.
But the truth is, the ring that you get, you love, and
Yeah.
you shouldn't even think about it because it's what he bought for you, what he purchased, and so you give a hint, give a little hint what shape
That's
you
good
like.
advice.
Yeah.
Okay, last question is, should you soft or hard launch the relationship on social media or keep it private until like you're married or engaged?
Ooh, I feel like it just depends on kind of what you want to do on social media,
Yeah.
you know? I think like everyone's different. Yeah, I think everyone's different. I just don't know. I think there's so many people
But you
that don't
posted
post that.
your
I
fiance.
definitely did. Yeah. Yeah. But I had been posting him for so long too because we were friends. And then I don't even know if we ever hard launched that we were dating. I think people just assumed.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Right.
But I would say the hard line is like if your fiance or your significant other or you are somebody that posts on social media frequently, you probably should hard launch your relationship. Otherwise, it's a little shady, right? But if you're somebody that doesn't post online, I don't think it matters.
It's such a hard one. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's
Well, it
like-
depends on the mate.
Yeah.
If your spouse or your future fiance doesn't go online with all his personal things, he might not want that.
Yeah.
So I think you have to
But
respect
I feel like
that.
that's a red
end.
flag if they don't want that.
No. I don't think so at all. I disagree. Just because you're part of this world doesn't mean that
But
you
you don't have
can't
to
love
tag
somebody that's not in this world. So you have to respect his feelings. I
Yeah.
really think.
I do too. Yeah.
I think you're more traditional.
Yeah, definitely more
Yes,
traditional.
So let's go. I think
I
I,
love
am
it.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kate, thank you so much for joining
Thank
us.
you.
Tell everyone how they can follow you, find the show, find anything you need them to know.
Okay, yes. All right, everybody, if you want to follow me and stay up to date on what I'm doing, go to @KateMackz, KateMackz, and check out my new podcast, Post Run High.
Yay!
So
thank
cute.
you.
Yay.
Kate.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kate.